Good afternoon. This is Cloud Chartist with a top-down Ichimoku analysis on U.S. Steel, ticker symbol X. I'm going to start with the weekly time frame. Top-down means starting from the longest time frame first. I could go for the monthly, but I'm going to start with the weekly. So looking at the weekly, we see that we have recently been in a strong uptrend ever since this strong bullish candle, continuing this uptrend that was briefly interrupted here in February, beginning of February. And then we put in some kind of indecisive candles, long-legged doji type candles, and then we started trending down, basically in a pullback mode as we were quite overbought, as you can see from the RSI down here. And we tested through the Tenkan-sen but closed over the Tenkan-sen. It's only really important how we closed. So we did close last week's candle above the Tenkan-sen. Now we're working on this week's candle, and currently we're below the Tenkan-sen. So that's important if you're interested in being bullish on U.S. Steel. You want the week to end up closing out above the Tenkan-sen. That is key for ensuring a potential bounce. As you see in this prior example, this candle closed below the Tenkan-sen, and then we had another candle that traded further lower, and it ended up being a long-legged doji, which ended up being a reversal candle, but it did trade all the way down to, let's see what the low is, like 30.91. Then we got this really strong bounce, and so obviously we have some resistance up here above this 45.50 level or so. So keep an eye on the 39.28 level on a closing basis on the weekly time frame. Let's go down to the daily. But overall, before I go, overall, you see that we had this cloud trending. We had a cloud trending up. Then we had a flat cloud for this period of time, and then going into the middle of the summer into July, we have a cloud trending up again. So we could trade in a sideways range as long as we continue trading above the cloud. It's bullish, even more bullish as long as we are able to stay above the Tenkan-sen. We do see also that the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen have both flattened out, suggesting that we're due for a bit of sideways action. Let's go down to the daily. Oops, sorry about that. So looking at the daily time frame, you see that we made this nice bull flag, and then we were unable to stay above the Tenkan-sen, and we ended up failing and coming down, testing the Tenkan-sen with this candle here, and then failing the Kijun-sen, failing the Kijun-sen as well, and coming down and testing around the cloud level. We didn't go all the way down to test this lower cloud level. Now we're just sort of bear flagging in this area. We could still come down and test lower. We could come down and test around the 3630 level. This is a slightly dangerous area coming into the end of the week and the beginning of, let's see, beginning of next week. It's really very important to maintain this 35.50, 35.50 level in order to remain bullish on the daily time frame. And if we do stay above that, and especially if we stay above the 39.50 level, we do have a nice supportive rising cloud into the middle of April going forward. We do see that the cloud is flattening throughout April, which sort of supports that prior weekly flat cloud thesis also. If you want to be really bullish U.S. Steel, you really want to see price action get back above the Tenkan, which is currently located at 42.63. But overall, this chart is mostly bullish, but really to be fully bullish, we want to see it back over that blue line, the Tenkan-sen. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. This is more useful if you're trading intraday. If you have swing trades on or whatever, don't worry about the 4 hour. I mostly just want to give a little Ichimoku lesson by going through all these time frames. So on the 4 hour time frame, we had a really steep market sell-off today, which is represented by this red candle. Most of the selling happened in the morning, and this is a market-wide sell-off. But we did hold these prior levels that we tested last week, so that's good. And the last 4 hour candle looks like a potential reversal candle after this bearish candle that broke through and closed below the Tenkan-sen. So if one wants to get back into bull territory, first we have to get a candle that closes over the Tenkan-sen, which is flat and currently at 39.45. But eventually we want to get back over the cloud. So we really need to get a move on and get back over this 42.63 level in order for things to be fully bullish on the 4 hour time frame. We will run into some resistance at the 41.20 area or wherever the Kijun-sen is if price is able to get bought up to that level. This is, however, an example of a bearish Ichimoku chart because price is not only below the cloud, we have a bear-crossed Kijun-sen and Tenkan-sen, meaning whenever you see the Kijun-sen on top of the Tenkan-sen, the pink line on my charts over the blue line, that is a bear cross. You want to see the blue line over the Kijun-sen in order for things to be bullish. Also, the Chikou span, this red line here representing the price action, time shifted 26 periods into the past. So this line is representing this current price action. It's just drawn back here, which is really handy. This is bearish as it is also under the cloud. So wherever the Chikou comes into resistance, price will also come into resistance or support. But I don't see any support under here. There is no support under here that the Chikou can come into on this time frame anyway. So let's go down to the hourly. On the hourly time frame, you see that we put in a series of sideways, sort of very messy triangulation type patterns, and then big choppy consolidation zone, and then we sold off and closed significantly below the cloud for a while, tried to get bought up again, then had this big sell momentum that started off last week, and then coming into some kind of support here around the 38.25 level, something like that. We came up, let me zoom in a little bit, came up and tested the cloud here, but were unable to break into the cloud at this level. We broke below the Tenkan-sen. Then we did manage to put in a closing candle above the Tenkan-sen, and then we did the big sell-off. This was this morning. And then we just been basically chopping around all day. But we did close back inside the cloud, which is hopeful. We do have the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen, which will both act as resistance. And you'll note, again, we have a bear cross Kijun-sen. It crossed over the Tenkan-sen right here. So, and we have a pretty thick cloud, so technically when price action is inside a cloud, it's neutral, and it does have support inside the cloud. And I'm going to leave it at that because I don't think there's much point in looking at shorter time frames of US steel. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned some little tip or trick from Ichimoku, and if you're interested in learning more Ichimoku stuff, check out my other videos on my YouTube channel. Thanks again. Have a great night.